Hello, everyone. Welcome back to C.H.A.I Together. I am your host and founder, Pratibha Day. You are tuning in for your cup of courage, hope, and imagination today. We use courage to showcase the stories on this channel. We use hope to overcome, and we use imagination to resonate and understand the stories which are being shared. So with that being said, I would like to welcome a really, really great guy who I came across from a friend of mine. His name is Mr. Erik Allen.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for having me on. This is such an honor.
Yeah, it's incredible to have you on because you can tell from just looking at your eyes, you're a great person.
Oh, thank you so much. That's awesome.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling excellent. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love if I open my eyes up in the morning, man, it's going to be a good day. So absolutely.
Yeah. You're so ready for that talk on mindset. Congrats.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to tell the people a bit about you before we continue. So Erik is truly a man of integrity, work ethic, and an overcomer. Growing up in a broken home to raising himself from the age of 14, unfortunately finding trouble along the way and desperately trying to fill the gaping voids in his life. As a young man, Erik found himself empty and tired of settling for less. After the feverish pursuit of the Holy Spirit, Erik decided to surrender and trust the one that would never let him down. Once Erik gave his life to Christ, it completely turned his life around and he met a woman and a new chapter was written. So that is really incredible. And I really like the last line that a new chapter was written. How does that make you feel?
Oh, amazing. Yeah, my wife is everything. She is the person that holds all of us together, man. She is my angel for sure.
Wow.
It's funny. My daughter asked me the other day, "Have you ever seen an angel?" And like immediately, my thought goes, "Well, your mom, my wife is the angel that has come into my life." So yeah, absolutely.
Wow. How old were you when she came into your life?
So we met when I was 24, and I'm 41 now.
Mhm. Wow. Well, you look great.
Thank you. Thank
Would've
you.
said 41.
Nice. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be married
Is that
16 years this year.
Wow. Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
And also congrats on your speaking gig that you were telling me about for those who are listening. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And I want to ask you, so, when you were 24, you're quite young and, life wasn't going well for you. So is that something that you prayed to God about to, help you get out of the situation? And then you met your wife? Like, was it like a calling?
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting story. So I was working in the music
Yeah.
business and I don't know how to play anything, but I love the business side of stuff. So I was like doing sales tracking for Universal Records in Seattle. And I had this like 2-year span where I was going to like 175 concerts over 2 years and open
Wow.
tabs. And I remember there was this moment where, me being in my early 20s at the time, I saw somebody in their late 30s and
Mhm.
they were still doing this thing of like just being backstage and being away from family. And I was like, I don't know if I want that in my life. And so I kind of at that moment, I think that was maybe a seed that was planted. But I was
Mm.
working at Starbucks at night. I was depressed, didn't have any friends. And, I'd
Mm.
go and get my 6-pack of beer and rent a video from Hollywood Video before going home and watching it on VHS. It's like, that was how it went. And this girl came in and who doesn't drink coffee. And she said, "Hey, we got this cool church event. It's for college age students, wondering if you wanted to go." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go and go hang out." And so I get there and there's all these people that I actually knew from the other side of the state from where I grew up. I grew up in Eastern Washington, and then this was out in Seattle.
Mhm.
It was like this weird, fun connection, right? And so I think that invite was kind of that another seed that was planted. And then I was
Mm.
out partying with the band that I was managing the night before Easter 2004. And went out and drank way too much. I woke up in my buddy's basement surrounded by about 15 other people. They were all passed out. And I woke up early and I felt God on Easter morning say, "Man, you're done." And I quit cold turkey, drugs, drinking cigarettes, everything. And
Wow.
then I called that girl up and I said, "Hey, just want to say happy Easter to you. Hopefully I'll see you back in the store." And she's now my wife. So
Oh
fun
my
stuff.
goodness.
Yeah.
That's just incredible. I feel like, we're going to talk about, your home as well, when you were a child in your
Yeah.
childhood. But the fact that how that went so smooth for you, that it was all aligned in place to where it's not where it was another thing that, oh my gosh, something else is happening to me. It was something really nice. That person, that's your person, someone who, saved you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that because I feel like that's one of the ways to get through something, to survive, is when you have at least one person by your side, and that she happened to be your wife and really pulled you out of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Fun story. We were actually both born
Yeah.
exactly the same minute, 1:41 p.m. documented on our birth certificate. Different years, different days, but exactly 1:41 p.m.
Do you find that to be, you know how they say the person that you're meant to be with, that's already destined for you? Do you believe in that more now?
I think I do. Like, I never really thought about it, but I was like, man, there's like all these things that brought us together. Like after that phone call, we dated for like a month and we were married a year later. And
Oh my
then, here
God.
we are trekking, 16 years this year in 2021.
Yeah. Was there anyone ever telling you that a year is too early? Did you ever have any like negative feedback from anyone?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I think from both sides, they're like, what? He already asked you to marry him? Like, I just kind of knew. And I think it was like after that, I'd said that our first date, I said, would you like to get some dinner? And she always thinks that's the funniest, like, redneck pickup line ever. And I wasn't
Oh
really
my
trying to be a
God.
pickup line, but that's how it came out. And then sure enough,
Wow. She's from Idaho too?
no. So we grew.
No.
She traveled a lot with family,
Mhm.
but we're both from Washington. She's from the Seattle area. I was
Mhm.
from the Eastern Washington area.
Yeah. Sorry, you did mention that, yeah. So I wanna dig into your childhood because so I originally discovered Erik, for those who are listening, from Miss Jessica Huckabee's podcast, The Catalyst for Change. And I listened to this episode a while ago now. So I just want you to refresh me that, your parents were divorced. Is that correct?
They did get divorced when I was 11.
They
Yeah.
get divorced, yeah. And the abuse, talk about the abuse and the depression and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in what I thought was a typical household, right? I mean, we did little
Mm.
league and I did Sunday school, and my dad would take my best friend Dave and I and throw us in dumpsters behind big stores and go find treasure. Like that's what it was. And
So
then they
fun.
got divorced when I was 11, and they immediately got together with other people pretty much right away. And my
Mm.
mom's boyfriend was an alcoholic, but then also an abusive, violent alcoholic. And so I watched my
Mhm.
mom get beat up quite a bit. And then when I think I was around 12, it was in the middle of my 8th grade year. Her boyfriend and her decided to move me and my sister up to Stevensville, Montana. Tiny town, 1,200 person population. We had 5 acres, so further away from the police, where the abuse continued and probably got worse,
Mhm.
right? I mean, my mom never
Mhm.
pressed charges. And they rented this house that had 3 bedrooms. It was one for my sister, one for my little brother, who was literally 2 months old, and then one from them. And they said,
Mhm.
Eric, you need to go out in the garage. And so literally I had a room in the garage, had a plastic tarp up, where at the edge of my room, that right next to me was the truck that was parked. And, so I had a fireplace out there to keep me warm during the winter, but it still get pretty cold during the winters in Montana. And so like I said, the abuse continued. And it was when I was 13 years old, I was brushing my teeth one night. It
Mhm.
was about midnight. And I
Mhm.
was in the bathroom. And the way the house is set up is, if I'm brushing my teeth here, behind me is the kitchen and then the pantry and then out to the garage where I stayed. So
Mhm.
it's about midnight. I'm brushing my teeth and they came arguing. No big deal. No different than any other night, really. But
Yeah.
something inside me was like, dude, you got to turn around. And as I turned around, I saw him on top of my mom, just boom, boom, one shot
Mhm.
after the other to her face. And the first thing that I thought of was grab a cast iron pan, those big heavy duty camping ones. And I just went up and I swung as hard as I could and I split his head open.
Mhm.
And he turned around. It didn't knock him out. And he said, what the? And as he was saying that, I took another swing and split his forehead open.
Mhm.
Still surprisingly didn't knock him out. But I remember him standing over me at that moment and he was yelling. And I had slipped and fallen. So I was on the floor and my mom comes out of nowhere and just lands like 6 punches in a row to his chin. There's blood on the wall. I mean, this is crazy insane. And
Mm.
after that, I pretty much got kicked out of the house. I had 3 months left of my freshman year of high school. So I just stayed with friends' houses for the next 3 months and before moving back to Washington to live with my dad. So yeah, it was pretty insane, man.
So that right there, you were defending her, but then, you got kicked out. So did you call yourself homeless? Did you feel that way afterwards for that whole time span?
I didn't really think of it that way at the time, but now I look back at
Yeah,
it and I was like,
that
that
is
was
what it
that was
is.
kind of weird. Like, I don't think I would ever do that, but
Mm.
maybe it was to protect me. I don't know. At that point I left to go live with my dad for my sophomore through senior year of high school. And he rented a
Mhm.
house for us and he would
Mhm.
put $20 in the cup. And that was my lunch money for the week. And he'd stuff Hunger Man meals in the freezer and cereal and milk in the house. And then he'd go stay with his girlfriend. So there'd be sometimes where I wouldn't see my dad maybe twice a month while I was
Mhm.
in high school. So I kind of raised myself at that point.
Yeah, since you were 14, I remember that from your bio. And so moving forward, when did you start recovering from this trauma? Like when did you realize? Like, was it after meeting your wife?
Yeah. Yep. It was definitely, I didn't realize the damage that had been done until late into my 20s, you know, and even today,
Yeah.
like there's still issues where like sometimes I get defensive, right? Like, cause I was always blamed for everything
Yeah.
as a kid, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, that whole path, it just led to destruction. You know, I was 18 years old and I got arrested for hemming a bong, which is now legal in that state. But I dived into a lot of drugs in high school, from acid to mushrooms to marijuana to, you know, I didn't want to pay $5 for a hit of acid, but I would go to the store and buy a $2.50 bottle of more dextromorphine cough syrup and drink that
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
get hallucinated, you know, basically hallucinate off
Mhm.
of that. And then no one taught me about money. So I was $28,000 in debt at 21
Yeah.
years old. I had to file bankruptcy, you know? So it was like this long path that I was on before I kind of woke up.
Yeah, your story is really incredible.
Thank you.
You
Thank you.
know how they say that whatever you go through in your childhood, it reflects as an adult. Like everything that we do, it's not something that goes away, especially trauma. I
Yeah.
feel it's ongoing, that whole healing process. And tell us about, where you are now and how, what is it that you took away from that?
Mm. Yeah, it's my wife and I, we both learned how not to have a marriage, right? Like, I mean, we both saw very bad examples of marriage and very bad
Yeah.
examples of parenting. And so for us, we're married 16 years, which is more than both of our parents were married. And
Wow.
we're here to now like change the legacy. We're breaking the chains of divorce. We're breaking the chains of
Yeah.
addictions and abuse that we saw. And we're leaving a new legacy for our kids, that for generations to come, that they will never have to experience what we experienced as kids. And so that's kind of our goal, is just continue to impact our tribe, our generations to come, and realize that, hey,
Mm.
you know what? We can change at any point, and there's no one stopping you at any point. So you can make a change if you want to.
I really like that. So tell us about the Bearded Biz Show. Tell us about
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome. Yeah,
It is
so
awesome.
I have two podcasts, the Top Rated MMA Show, which I started in
Mhm.
2017. It's where I talk with MMA fighters and help them get known and noticed online. And I've done
Mhm.
over 200 shows, humbly considered #1 MMA podcast out here in the Northwest. And then in 2018, I came across this guy online by the name of Ed Milet, and I was like, just like sucked in so much. I started binge watching all his shows like a madman. Got his book. I read it like several times. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, this guy, he's amazing. And so at the end of 2018, I had kind of thought about like starting a new podcast on top of Top Rated MMA, because I'm fascinated with people's stories. And so I
Mhm.
wanted to understand the entrepreneurship side of things. And I've kind of had that entrepreneur spirit in me. And so end of 2018, Ed Milet issued the Max Out Challenge on Instagram to his 1 million followers. You had to submit a 1-minute video of what you're passionate about, what your dream is, what your business. And I submitted it. And 2 months later, he announced me as the winner. I am the winner of Ed Milet's Max Out Challenge. And so I got to have a phone call with him. It was supposed to be 20 minutes. We ended up going 30 minutes, and it was life changing for me.
Wow.
And so I had actually talked to his team. I was able to record it, and I released episodes or portions of that as episode 12 of the Bearded Biz Show. So very early
Yeah.
on, you know, I was able to get Ed Milet and Sean Whalen, and that just opened up tons of doors for Bedros Keuilian and Brad Lee and Jim the Rookie Morris and Tim Story and Erik LeGrand. And I mean, just so many awesome blessings have come my way since I just said, all right, I'm just going to do it. I mean, when I started podcasting, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have a camera or lights. I was in a walk-in closet for almost like
Yeah.
100 episodes, you know? It was like, I didn't even look at the camera. I'd be like talking to him, you know, down here. And, you know, it's like, but I think the Bearded Biz, it's opened up so many doors of just connecting with awesome people like yourself, and especially being in Clubhouse. Clubhouse is an amazing app, right? I'm just connected with so many awesome people in there. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're just every single Friday the Bearded Biz show drops, and every single Saturday the Top Rated MMA show drops, and I've been doing that for 2 years.
Yeah. Tell us your Clubhouse handle.
Erik Allen Media.
Erik Allen Media. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
going to link all your information.
thank
One
you.
thing I did want to ask is I wonder how you got the name, The Bearded Show.
So it started as a joke, actually. So when I first started growing a beard, I would just grow, like when I was first married, I would grow a beard for 1 month out of the year. It wasn't like November. It was just one
Oh.
random month out of the year I'd grow a beard, and then I'd shave it off, and my wife would fall back in love with me and say, "Oh, awesome." Right? Like, so then I think my daughter was like 3, and she'll be 11 this year. I shaved it off, and she was like, "Daddy, I miss the beard." And I was like, "I'm never shaving the beard again." Right? Like I just wouldn't. And then when I had the idea for the Bearded Biz show, I was like, I got to do something. Like, I have a beard. People kind of know me for the beard. And so
Yeah.
I was like, but if I name it something like the Bearded Biz, I never have to shave my beard again. So that's why I started it like that. And I was like, it just kind of stuck. So that's how we are.
I really like that. I really like that. And
Thank you.
you know, a lot of the names that you stated, they're actually new names to me, so I'm gonna look those people up. And
Okay.
yeah, Ed Mila is definitely fantastic. And one thing I want to ask you is, you know, so now you're 41, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is incredible because you look great because you're happy.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't share my story till I was 39. I just kind of held all that
Wow.
in. And then once I released it, it was like so much weight off my shoulders. And I
Mm,
think in that moment, God just started to open up doors and said, man, I got bigger plans for you than what you've been
yeah.
doing. So we're kind of in the middle of this like massive change, and things are happening.
Mm,
And 2021. I mean,
yeah.
2020 was a great year for me, and 2021 is going to even be a better year.
Yeah. You know what? I like that because 2020 was my best year, honestly.
Yeah.
Not for other people, but for all I'm doing. And yeah, for entrepreneurs, I would say definitely can be if you choose it to be. And, you know, let's dig into that. Let's dig into how, you know, you didn't share your story and then you were able to at 39. What was that point that led you to do that?
I actually was listening to a guy named Pete Vargas, who's a speaker, and he was telling his
No.
story about getting a TED Talk, and he got 3 minutes to kind of just share his story. And so it was this like free
Yeah.
course on being able to share your story. And
Mm.
one of the challenges was submit a video no longer than like 8 minutes of your story. And so I put together a 8-minute video and then submitted it to him. I had to just put it out there, and it was scary as all could be. And I was like, man, people are going to judge me. They know they officially know what I've been through, all the stuff. And, that kind of like imposter syndrome sort of thing
Yeah.
started to kick in. But that's what kind of triggered it. And then after that, I was like, man, I'm just going to go with it. And so in 2020, I was a guest on 25 podcasts, and this year in
What?
2021, I'll be a guest on 100 podcasts, and then release 100 episodes of my shows this year.
You got it. And you also work your job still, right?
I do. I still work a full-time job.
Yeah.
Not 9 to 5. So I go get up at 4 a.m. 6 days a week so that I can work on my podcast. I edit all my shows myself. I do everything
Wow.
on my. And then, about 6:30, I go downstairs, I make breakfast for the kids, get their lunch going. And then my wife takes them to to school and things like that. But at 8 o'clock, I flip over to this computer and I work till 5, and then we do it again. But the weekends are actually my most productive days because my kids are
Mm.
sleeping in. I can get up at 4 a.m. I don't have to shower. I just get up and like put on some good tunes and like get busy for 2 hours or, 4 hours actually.
Wow. So how do you feel you have time to yourself? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. That is my time for myself. So that's why
Yeah.
I started waking up so early, was because I didn't
Yeah.
want to miss out on the family time. But I
Mm.
knew that I wanted to fight for my goals. I wanted to make something. And I've said this for a while, but my desire to be successful is bigger than my desire to sleep. And so like,
Wow.
I'm
I
gonna
like
get up and I'm gonna make that happen. And someday I'll be able to sleep in, but right now I'm still
yeah.
fighting for that,
Yeah. Most people say, you know, I'll sleep when I'm dead,
Right.
things to do
Yeah.
while you're here on this earth.
Yeah.
And you know, I follow Sadhguru's teachings. Do you know of Sadhguru?
Seth Guru.
Yeah, Sadhguru.
I don't know if I do. I'll have
Yeah,
to check
he's
it
a
out.
yogi, a mystic.
Okay.
In India, if you Google, he's very popular globally, over
Oh,
like
nice.
6 million followers, and he's a guru, you know, in
Okay.
India, and just how there was Thich Nhat Hanh and Baba Ramdas and all of that. Do you know them? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but his teachings, he teaches that, you know, when you sleep right, you don't need to sleep a full like 8 hours. You know, it's
Right.
all about your health and your mindset. It really is.
Yep.
And that's what he teaches like college students and things how to do better. But what I want to ask you is, you know, firstly, I want to tell you that you should submitting your videos and, you know, making it. I feel like that's your thing. You have like right there. Whenever you create a video and submit it, it's like a pivoting like moment for your life every time. You
It's
think
been awesome. Yeah. And it's how I invite guests to my show. And people ask me like, how do you land the big names?
Mm,
Because I'm not like some big worldly known podcaster guy, but
yeah,
I've been
yeah.
blessed to be able to speak to some amazing people. And I'll throw this tip out there: is quit sending text invites to people or emails to people to invite them on your show. Like I would like seriously, like I literally take my camera or my phone,
Yeah.
30 seconds. Ed, what's going on? It's Erik Allen on Coeur d'Alene. You're a change the world, man. I think you'd be an amazing guest on my show. I know you have a house
Mm,
out here. Let's rock and roll, man. I'll talk to you soon. 30 seconds. Send it out. that's how I book 98% of my guests for my shows. Bedros
Wow.
Koulian, Brad Lee, Tim Story, everybody, 30-second
Wow.
video. I never go over 30 seconds. And
Wow.
that is helped me. And I think the beard helps sometimes too, because I'll usually respond back like,
Mm.
dude, I love the beard and I love the flag behind you. Right. So I'm like,
Yeah, I
gotta
noticed
do
that
something
too.
different. Right. Yeah. So
Patriotism. Yeah, patriotism. Go America. Yeah, that's a really great tip. I feel like you can teach other people how to have their own podcast. I feel like you're knowledgeable enough to tell them the tips and tricks to that. Is that one of your goals to, go even higher with the podcast?
the course is almost done. Yes. I'm
Oh
launched
my
it.
God, I'm right.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, the course is almost done. We're working on a quick start guide. It'll be free to folks. It's literally just like how to start your podcast in less than 7 days. And we're going to launch that very soon. It'll be free. It'll be on my website, erikallenmedia.com.
Wow.
I'm hoping in another month it'll be done. We're just kind of checking over the guide right now and making sure that everything's still looking good. But yeah, we're going to be releasing that soon. And then I'll have some upgraded courses, of course, if people want to work with me directly. But yeah.
Wow. See, I didn't even know that. And you can, sense someone's aura and their potential and everything that they can do for those tuning in. Wow. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One more thing I
Yeah.
want to talk to you about is, you said how Christianity, was that seed that, your wife had planted earlier on. So before that, did you believe in like God, or like, what were your thoughts on that before and after,
Yeah, I mean, I grew up going to church, and so I
Okay.
always had a sense of God,
Mhm.
but I never took it like seriously.
Yeah.
And then when I was 19, right out of high school, I was dating a girl who was a Christian, and I went and gave my life to Christ at like 19 years old. But I didn't do it for me; I did it for her, right?
Mm.
And so there was a big like blocker. I never drew close to God. It was very much showy, at the time, and
Yeah.
I just wasn't in that right place or that right mindset to really fully commit to it. And so
Mm.
I think that God, it's funny. I had a pastor friend tell me one time that God kind of has us on these strings. And when we sin, he cuts that string and he reties it and brings us a little bit closer. And so at the time on Easter morning, man, my string was up and I was in his hands and it was ready to change. It kind of just rocked me at that point.
Mm. So since, that experience when you're younger and now what are your thoughts on Christianity? Like, what are your thoughts on what you believe in?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be here without God.
Yeah.
God is, I think you have to start your day off right every single day.
Mhm.
I'm big
Mhm.
on morning routine. So when I wake up, I get upstairs and the first thing I do is thank God for everything. You have to be grateful. One,
Yeah.
you opened your eyes, right? So you're awake and be grateful for that. And then get a win out of the way. Make your bed right away, right?
Yeah.
So 2 wins right away. You opened your eyes, you make your bed. That's 2 wins in 10 seconds. And then I
Yeah.
get upstairs and I just have to, thank God for everything that I'm blessed with from my wife and my kids and the house and our, vehicles, and we're all
Mhm.
healthy and the amazing connections, and my full-time job. I'm just thankful. And you really have to just put that
Yeah.
out there every single day. And, I think that's how you start your day off right, is you just try to draw close. I'll throw on some worship music and really just try to draw close and read some Bible. And then after that, man, it's ready to rock and roll.
I really like that. It's just a positive aura. It's just like a beam of light coming from you. Like,
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
you're
Yeah.
just like, I'm just happy moving around.
Yeah, like for me, like it's funny because I literally stand on this like exercise, like
Yeah. Yeah.
step up, right? So for my camera,
Yeah.
but like if I was on a stage, I'd be kind of running down. I'm kind of like hyper, so I'm like, oh man, I get fired up. I'm like, woo, let's do this.
Yeah, you were like that when you came on.
Yeah.
So tell me before we go, like, tell me your goals and dreams for this year, like, or your big goal. What do you want to do in life? Like, what is, your home run?
Yeah, my one goal that I have every single day is I
Mhm.
want to make somebody smile every
What?
single day.
Hey.
Every day. That's one goal that I have every day. So if I'm out at the store, like
Wow.
grocery clerks and people that work retail and restaurants, they have a name tag for a reason. We
Mm.
should be calling by their name. So like, hey,
Yeah.
Jim, or hey, Bob, man, like I want to see them smile. That's my one goal every single day. I want to see someone smile.
Mm.
And so, but I think if we can do that on a daily basis and we continue to do that and we just love on people, like just quit judging people for
Yeah.
whatever their political preference, sexual preference, whatever, just love on people where they're at. man, the world would be so much a better place. And
Wow.
I think, long-term goal, like I want to be a full-time speaker, podcaster, maybe I'll
Wow.
write a book. I don't know. But like at some point I
Yeah.
want to be able to do that and be able to provide for my family doing that.
Yeah.
And I love my job. I love the company I work for. It's a great startup, but
Mm.
it's not my passion, right? It's not what I've been called to do. I've been called to, help people and called to impact people. And so that's my goal. And I want to be on 100 podcasts this year. I'm actually currently booked for like 29 already.
Yeah.
So I'm just pumped and going to crush that goal. And I'll release 100 episodes of each of combined of my 2 shows. And I want to speak from 12 physical stages this year. And I have my first
Wow.
paid speaking gig this week, which I'm really excited about.
Tell us more about that. Yeah.
It's going to be speaking on mindset. So I'm going to be talking with
Mm.
actually a group of insurance agents, which insurance is tough. I went through and
Yeah.
I took insurance. Like I was licensed in the state of Washington and I took all the tests 3 times because I suck at taking tests. And every time I took it, it cost me $80 or something like that. It was just
Mm.
ridiculous. And so, yeah, talking with them about how to connect with like getting referral partners and how to network and things like that and how to just have that mindset. So I'll be talking with them on that. Really excited about that. It'll be a virtual event.
Yeah.
But I'm totally excited about it and be able to connect with them. It's actually a local team here where I live out in Idaho. And so, yeah, it's going to be fun.
Wow. You're doing great stuff. I look
Thank you.
forward to talking more about, possibly later in the year about what else you're doing at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
going to be hopefully speaking a ton. And like I said, I think the end goal for me is, like I said, be full-time entrepreneur, podcasting, coaching, run those courses. And
Mm.
I want to buy acreage. I want to, I love people, but I want my acreage and I don't really, I'm like, give me the land. And so that's the goal. Like I want to build the house on the acreage. And if I can
Wow.
see my neighbors from my porch, I'm too close. Like that's kind of where that's the end goal right
Yeah.
there.
One thing that everything you went through and the tips and tricks that you're giving here on the show, it's all because of what you went through.
Yeah.
You reaching out to people, calling them by their name, having that respect for them. It's because you know what it feels like to not be respected when you were a kid, and you being a kind person and something like wanting to see someone smile every day as your goal. Like that's how you know someone is a good person, because it's not something that's material. It's something that's just by nature,
Yeah.
and I think that's a beautiful thing. Thank you for being on Chai Together. Leave everyone with your information, your website and all.
Oh, this was amazing. Thank you so much. It's
Yeah,
such an
thanks
honor.
for your time. I know we have limited time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I can be erikallenmedia.com is my website. Erik Allen Media on Facebook, Erik G. Allen on Instagram and Twitter, and it's ERIK. And I love connecting and network with new people. So shoot me a DM,
Yeah.
say that you listen to the show, let us know, and go follow this show, leave a rating and review, and man, let's change the world together.
Yeah, one thing I have to say is, even though Erik stated he's, connected with all those people who are, bigger than him and, regarding finances and all, that, when I reached out to him, he was still kind and still humble and himself. There's nothing different about him just because he's connected to people who are, up there. It doesn't change who he is. So he really is who you see right here. So thank you.
Absolutely. And anybody that responds or leaves comments, I'm big on it. I will always respond to comments. So I so appreciate
Yeah.
anybody that checks out the stuff and just doing good in the world. So thank
Yeah.
you so much for having me on.
Yeah,
This was
and I'm
awesome.
gonna link that video of you chatting with Ed Milet because everyone should go watch that. That is
Okay.
incredible.
I was nervous. And I don't even know if I had a beard at the time.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but
Oh, you know what? I must have had a beard, but it was probably a lot shorter than it is now.
but I know you were just like, wow, man, like you were just like so excited.
Totally. Alex, that was a weird day because that day that I interviewed Ed, 1
Mm.
hour prior, I had interviewed Ken Shamrock. So for me, like those are 2 legends, and I had talked to them on the same day, an hour apart. My mind was blown that day.
You're already there, like podcasting full time, all that. Just envision it like you're already there. Like that's what we have to do until we get there, because our mind can't tell the difference, right? Like,
Yep.
yeah. So you connecting with these people with your personality and the heart you have, that's a sign. Like I believe that's a sign from God that you're going the right path. That if you can talk to people like that, you can also sit with them at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
So
That's awesome.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
You too.